Hi, it's Kathy from Raven Vintage. Welcome back to my craft room. We are redoing the 100 days of envelopes. Any of the videos that I did as a reel or a short, by request, I'm making them into long videos. Now, this is a decoupaged envelope, and I must first say, I don't do decoupage. I do the odd little thing, but I don't know really, I've never taken a course. I'm not here to teach you how to decoupage because clearly I don't know what I'm doing, because you're going to see like I don't know the proper way to decoupage. I think that, let's take my sweater off. I've seen things like using a spray bottle and wetting your napkin and putting it on plastic and then laying the plastic down on top of your surface and smoothing it. I've seen all the things, but I've never tried them. This is just how I do it. So yes, we're going to end up with a little bit of a bumpy, wrinkly envelope. Of course, we are working with very thin paper here, so it's kind of to be expected. So please do not consider this a lesson in decoupage. I just want to show you how I decoupaged a napkin onto an envelope. That's all. I did a video way back with hedgehog napkins, and it was really popular and I had a lot of questions. So I'll show you how I take the ply off my napkins. I'll show you how I decoupage my envelope. So like I said, it's not a lesson in decoupage, so please don't come at me. If you want to share your tips in the comments about decoupage, please do so and help others. So I have a napkin that's 3-ply. I have an envelope, I have some tape, my Mod Podge, and I have a heat tool. And then I also suggest you grab something that's going to fit inside, like some sort of plastic or something that's going to fit inside your envelope. It doesn't matter the size or anything. The only thing I would recommend is, before you get started, take your envelope and your napkin and lay the 2 points close together here and fold this up, and just make sure that this, when it's folded up, that it's going to cover this part of the envelope. If it falls short, then your napkin's too small or your envelope's too big. So I'm using those, like, I think these are what, 6.5, like a 13-inch envelope, or I'm sorry, 13-inch napkin when it's open. And this is like about 4 by 5 or so. Okay. So what I do is I take a piece of tape and I put it on the white part on the back, on the corner, and I don't have nails, but I just kind of bend this and do that until I can. Now I've got both pieces. That never happens. There. Just gently pull off the first ply. It comes off pretty easily. Use that tape again. And you can keep this and use that and Mod Podge that on top of like glossy book pages or magazine pages. I feel like I'm whispering because my dog is still sleeping. She always sleeps in. And then we grab the next one. And here's where we want to be a little bit gentle. So just hold this one down. I'm probably not teaching you anything you don't already know. I'm sure you all know this trick. I was trying to think of what the term or the word is for where it's pinched together on the edges to keep the plies together. Like it's pinched. I don't know what the term is. There's a term for that. So I was going to try to be fancy and tell you, but I'll tell you I don't know what it is. Okay, so the bumps, for me, I've noticed in a lot of, like the ones I've done, they disappear. You don't really see them. But I think we could also bring the corner of the envelope down just into the smooth part, like here. And then the other thing is you can iron your napkin so you don't have these creases. So in theory, since it's the heat that gets rid of the creases, let's try heat with our tool and see if we can get rid of the creases a little bit before we get started. In theory, I don't know if it's going to work. Let's try. It helped a little bit, not a lot, but I'm not concerned about it. If you are concerned about wrinkles showing in your, mine's going to be bubbled and warped and have lines, and I'm good with that because it looks like a grungy envelope. I'm good with that. But if you don't like that, by all means go ahead and iron your napkin. get rid of your creases. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm first going to apply a thin layer of Mod Podge on. Opened my flap up, and I want to work from this side first, and just a very thin layer. And you want to work kind of quickly because this stuff starts getting tacky very quick, and I find that's where if it lifts and has air in there, then we get those bubbles, and when we put the next layer of Mod Podge on, it's just trouble. Okay, so pretty smoothed out. See, it's already getting tacky at the top here where I started. And I've got some bumps. Of course, stop. Get out of there. Okay, taking too long. All right, now I want to just quickly lay my napkin. Probably easiest if I would take a risk and do it that way, but let's do it this. Lay the napkin down, so pretty side down or print side down, and I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to line my peak up to just below the bumpies. Okay, and pull my napkin kind of tight. Straighten it out. Smooth that out. Okay, now let's turn that over. And what I want to do, I don't want to pull on the napkin. I want to push it into the Mod Podge. And be careful. If your hands are tacky at all, you're just going to pull up the napkin and tear it. So just try to push it into, like push down and push it into the Mod Podge. And then I think you'll find when we apply the heat tool to it that some of the wrinkles just kind of disappear. It's kind of neat. So even that seam isn't too bad. I'm going to try the rounded edge here without pulling. Careful, Kathy. Very gentle. Kind of pressing that where the crease of the napkin is. Pressing it into the Mod Podge, and hopefully that crease just blends in and disappears and you don't really notice it. Still kind of there, but okay. So now I'm going to apply the heat tool. I'll be right back. Let's add some heat to it very gently. Don't get too close because then your Mod Podge bubbles. Let's just stay back a little bit. I'm pretty happy with that, but while it's still warm from applying the heat tool, I'm just a real light hand. I'm just going to smooth out some of those. Now, when I apply the Mod Podge on top of that again, of course, it's going to bubble up, and again, we'll get more. It's going to saturate the napkin and it's going to pucker. But for now, pretty happy with that. So I don't see the creases too much. They're pretty good. That looks pretty good to me. All right, so now let's flip that over. This is the sweat, the condensation from the applying the heat. Okay, so now I'm going to insert this plastic piece into the envelope because I only want to apply Mod Podge to the back of the envelope and not the inside of the flap. So again, a nice thin layer. We're going to work quickly to try to get that napkin on before this starts tacking up on us. Getting tacky. I'm probably a little liberal with that. There we go, a nice even layer. And I'm going to pull my napkin up. It's easiest for me if I go this way so I can pull against the edge, and I'm going to pull it kind of tight towards the top like that and hold that with my hand, and then pull this one out that way and then pull that napkin that way without tearing. So again, push it into the Mod Podge and make sure your hands are dry and you're not going to lift the envelope, or I'm sorry, lift the napkin. So that looks pretty good. Keep in mind this is where my envelope is, so I'm not concerned about anything up here. Light hand, push that in. It's kind of wrinkly, but it's not too bad. And there's that crease again. Try to hide the crease. Okay, let's apply some heat to that again. Okay, that's great. Now what I'm going to do is just cut off some of the excess. We'll trim it up neater afterward. But for right now, I'm just going to trim off some of this excess just so it's a little easier to work with. And then you could use these pieces to cover a tag or something else. Same with this. I'm going to pull this back. Now it's going to be stuck. Nope, it did not stick to the plastic. There. That's the back of the envelope, and that's the front. And I'll be trimming off this stuff here eventually. Actually, we can just do some of it now just so you get the idea. That stuff's coming off. That'll be coming off, and I'll be trimming it nicely afterward. Okay, so back to the front. Let's do another layer of Mod Podge. And again, you want to be careful that you don't lift and pull the napkin and tear it. I always seem to tear it at some point, so I say that and I'll probably tear it, but just do your best. If you have tips for me on how I should be doing this, let me know in the comments. But I mostly, oh, I forgot to cover my, that's okay. I don't want to stop because I don't want to take too long. I forgot to put my silicone mat down. That's okay. I'm not worried about my mat, but I'm just worried about the envelope sticking to the page. Oh, see, now I got my thumb right. Oh, there. Jeez. There you go. All right, so let's apply some heat again quickly. Hopefully it doesn't bubble up too much, but let's give it a go. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed me in the quick play there, but I was pushing down. Again, it's still not quite dry, but I was still trying to push it down into the mat, or into the Mod Podge. It's a little wrinkly over here, so not too bad. It's mostly dry. I'm going to try to smooth it a bit while it's still warm, like while the envelope's still warm. Now, if you get one thing I learned is if I get my heat tool too close and the Mod Podge starts to bubble and then the bubbles crack, and they dry that way, and then you have a rough surface. So try not to get too close with your at first I thought, oh, that's a good thing, and then it'll let the air out, but then I realized after that they dried and then they were bumpy, like rough. So I'd rather not burst those bubbles abruptly. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, let's do the other side. One of the most frequent questions I received about the envelope from the reel was, can you still use that in the post? Like, can you mail that? And I don't see why not. Like, some people suggested just use a white label for your address. Make sure you have the right postage. Make sure your postage is going to stick. I have never tried it, so I can't answer that. But I've received some pretty fun envelopes in the mail, so I don't think it would be refused or anything if that was the question. I don't think the post office would refuse it as long as it's addressed clearly and your postage is sticking. Why not? So I really don't know. I haven't tried it. If anyone has decoupaged an envelope and sent it through the post, let us know how you made out. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to dry this, and then we're going to ink the edges and add it to our journal, and we'll get it trimmed up nicely. It's mostly dry, but I'm going to remove the plastic just so I don't get that like condensation effect. Just 1 second. Here's a letter opener. I'm just going to try to reach down into the, there we go, into the envelope where it's not glued. So I can pull this out. Please don't rip, please don't rip, please don't rip. Lift a little. I should have maybe tried to stay just on the envelope itself. I might have a problem here. Let's see. There we go. Come on. There we go. I should have been a little neater about that. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to dry it just a little bit more without that plastic behind it causing that condensation. Okay, that's pretty good. Oh, please don't stick to my... That's what I was afraid of. Okay, I just lifted my... It stuck to my mat a little bit and it lifted it. It's not ripped, it just bubbled. Hopefully that'll settle back down. Okay, it's not that big of a deal, though I'm not concerned about it because it's, you know, going into a junk journal that's looks grungy anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to trim this as close as I can to the edge of the envelope. Now, if you happen to cut your envelope by mistake, that's okay. You can just glue the edge shut again. That's fine. Don't worry about that. There. So it feels like it's sealed nice and we have a nice edge. Okay. Do this side. Nice and close to the edge. There we go. It's also a nice edge. Now let's trim around the flap. I'll do that rounding with a smaller pair of scissors. This is a fun project to do if you like to get the paintbrushes out and where's my little scissors? And do something a little different. Getting the Mod Podge out is always fun. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to put this insert back in because I want to show you two ways to get rid of this part. So one is to use I should put my, I'm just going to go put this, I'm going to go rinse this out so it doesn't dry. I'll be right back. So one way I like to get rid of this is, let me just get rid of this garbage. I like to use my little craft knife and a ruler. I can see the edge of the, I don't know if you can, but I can see the edge of the envelope. And then I'm just going to very gently cut from, see the envelope goes like this and across and then up again. I'm going to start at that point. I don't care if I cut this, right? I just don't want to cut through to the other side of the envelope, but this is fine. A little more. I'm going light, little at a time. Now I feel like I'm, there we go, touching the plastic. So that's one way to do it. Or of course you can use your scissors and as long as you can see the edge of your envelope and trim along there, should be just fine. So both ways work. And then this end piece. I'm going to link Eva's YouTube, or I'm sorry, Etsy shop below. I don't know if she's still shipping to the US or not, but she has napkins for decoupaging. So she has the fun ones. She has neat stuff. She has gifted me some. I also look for napkins at gift stores. And I mean, they're not really cheap to buy when you buy the whole package of the fancy ones. But once in a while I do see packages of them when I'm thrifting. There we go. I'm going to pull this back out and then we'll just finish trimming. But Eva does have, you might not want an entire package and spend the money. So if you want to, more economical way is to buy them individually from Eva's wonderful collection. So check her out. Again, that's shipping from Canada. There we go. There we go. And I think that needs a little trim at the top. Yes. You too, maybe? Yes, see where it's just hanging over the edge a little? And here. Oh, that one looks fine. Like a bump right there. I might as well trim that out. Yeah. Okay. So let's ink this. Now I'm using distress ink, not oxide. I think the ink soaks in just fine. Oxide might, I'm not sure. I have not tried. It might slide off. I don't know if it would with the Mod Podge or not. You'll have to let me know if you've tried that. So again, I'm not a decoupage person, so this is not a video to learn decoupage. And if you do have any tips you want to share with me that you think might make this better or easier, please do so. Always like to learn new things. Now we can add paper to the inside of this, but if you wanted to, but I think what I'm going to do is just do a wrap around a page with it. So it's a pocket. But yes, this was day 6. This is how I decoupage my envelopes. So it's no big trade secrets here other than using an insert to keep it from sticking together. And that's how, and wrapping it around so you've got one secure and nice edge there. These are trimmed. You can see the difference between that edge and this beautiful smooth edge. So at least we have one beautiful smooth edge like that. Where did I leave off inking? So that's going to be glued down. Okay, so you're you want to fold this your flap back down. So maybe use a ruler so you get a nice edge. And then we will just gently back and forth. Get that crease back where it was. It's just such a neat it's such a neat texture now. It almost feels like fabric. Well, maybe fabric's not, like plastic, but it's bendy. But isn't that pretty? A pretty little envelope. So yes, you could use a mailing label and stick it on there. I think your postage would stick fine. And I don't see why that wouldn't go through the US Post. The only thing I'd be, or the Canada Post or US Post, the only thing I'm concerned about is these edges, because they're going through, they're getting zipped through, you know, conveyors and rollers and stuff. So I would worry that that might get lifted. So I don't know, you could try it. Maybe just send one locally to someone and ask them how it turned out when you got there. Okay. And let's do the front. Yeah, the ink, the distress ink on the Mod Podge, it stays, it sinks in just fine. I just don't know about the oxides, if that would work or not. Haven't tried. Okay, there we go. Oh, top. All right, so let's find a spot to put that in the journal. I have something here. I've got a little ephemera from that Let's Ask Autumn. Let's put that in there. That's really pretty together. Let's get rid of this stuff. And where's my journal? I buried it. There she is. Point of view. Put you back. Put you back. Put you back. Okay. Upside right or upside down? Upside right. Okay. So far in our remakes, we've done the flip, flop, flap. And we did embossing and the dry embossing. And then we did this where we took the envelope up, dissected the envelope and made it into little pouches and pockets. There, so this piece and this piece is one whole envelope. And then here is my envelope I did last night. Now I'll tell you what the mistake was. When I was recording the video and I did the Mod Podge on the front, and then well, first I attached the whole napkin front and back, and then I Mod Podged the front. And then what I should have done is gone and done the second, like the top coat on here. What I ended up doing was I did this twice. I Mod Podged the front twice and forgot about the back. I just got talking and forgot what side I was on. So then once I realized that, then I Mod Podged added the top coat to the back. But you can see how the front of the envelope is really kind of glossy because there's two coats on it. So that was my mistake. So that's why I wanted to re-record today. Didn't realize. That's what happens when you're talking. My sister and I were just talking about that, about people, you know, teaching courses and stuff online, and you're trying to be creative and teach or talk at the same time, and it can be difficult. Lots of pocket. Ooh, I kind of like that together. That's really nice. Yes, let's do that. So I'm just going to glue this entire flap down. Actually, you know what we can do? We can glue this so that this is a tuck. So let's just glue here and right along the edge. So on the flap side, I'm just going to do a really thin line of glue there. And then I'm going to glue the bottom part of the flap, let's say. And just slide that on. It's right up to the edge. There. So the glue is here and a real thin bead up the side. And it won't flop around on us. There, so it's got a little bit of wrinkles and stuff to it, but I think it looks really cool. I like that. So that is how I do my Mod Podge envelopes with napkins. And like I said, I am no Mod Podge expert. So if you're here to learn how to decoupage, not the right spot. That's not me. So now that this is dry, I can try to smooth down some of those. I don't think they are going to. Oh yeah, that one's smoothing down a little bit without tearing it. I don't need to worry about really. I mean, I could get probably a little too rammy and tear it, but oh yeah, that is getting the wrinkles out a little bit. Very good. So I can still barely see the crease of the napkin there. Barely. You really can't see the crease of the napkin though. I'm pretty happy with that. But it's so pretty. There's so many pretty napkins out there, and this is just such a neat thing to do. I really like it. And it's tactile, like it's a neat texture. Yeah, really pretty. So that is Decoupage Day 6. So let's just check our comments and talk about what we're going to do in the next video. So when I recorded the first one, which was Remaking Day 1, which was this flip-flop flap, I recorded the next video pretty quickly, so I didn't finish all the comments, or people didn't have much of a chance to comment, let me say. So I want to also say hello to, and if I double up, I apologize because I can't really tell. Midori, thanks for watching, Midori. Thanks for all the pink icons. You listened to me. You heard what I said. Thank you. Thank you so much. And then I have a Paper Chicken. Paper Chicken, I love your handle. Paper Chicken 6253. Thank you for watching. Thanks for the love. I love your handle. Margot, Bowmake or Bawmake. You'll have to tell me what that stands for. Oh, she missed my tutorials. Thanks, Margot. I'm happy to be back and chatting with you again. I missed you guys. I really did. And these other ones, Mary, did I talk to you in the first one? I'm going to repeat them all, I guess. We talked about the Canadian geese formations. It is pretty neat this time of year watching them practice. I mentioned that in the first video, how that's a sure sign of fall coming with the Canadian geese practicing their formation and talking to each other. It's quite a sight. Suzanne Wolf, thank you for watching. Oh, this handle I thought was beautiful. Gathering Time and Grace. That's beautiful. Sherry Mills, one of my OGs. Tina, Touch of Serenity. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And thank you for your nice comment. I appreciate it. Dorothea, always. Every time I turn on my computer or my phone or something, Dorothea's there. Dorothea is crafting all the time. Dorothea, you're like a crafting buddy. You're like my support animal. You're like right there. I love it. I love it. Sherry Vanderpool, one of my OGs. Thank you for the welcome back. Jazelle, that's Janelle, right? Yeah, Janelle, thank you for watching. Yes, I have been having a blast. Been so busy. Nancy from Stamp for Less, one of my OGs also. Thank you so much for the welcome back. Jita from Czechoslovakia. Hi, Jita. Crafty Corey. Crafty Corey sent me a really lovely message. Thank you again, Corey. Yeah, people are watching from all over. Czechoslovakia, a lot of you in the US, so a lot in California and Texas. And then let's move into the second video where I did these, which I just showed you, I think. These guys. And the dry embossing here. And then I added some ink to, I did brown for the branches, and we were talking, Mary was talking about this owl. She made me laugh. But also talking about adding dimension and layers and how cool that is in our journals. So that was day 3 and 4. So the comments there, want to say hello. Canadian 693. Canadian 693. So you were to my left and to my right. So you used to be in Quebec and to the east, and now you're over in northern Alberta. So she was talking about making borscht. She's a first generation Canadian Ukrainian. And butternut squash soup. Valentina, thank you for your comment. I tried borscht when I was a kid and I didn't mind it. We had this at school. We brought food from different, we had like an ethnicity day where we brought different types of food. I'm like 5 generations of Canadian here. So like, it's like, I didn't really have anything ethnic to bring, so I was quite intrigued by the different dishes from different families. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, and Anna, what were you talking about? Anna Griffin. Yeah, I'd never heard of Anna Griffin until I thrifted some, but yeah, she likes the Anna Griffin stuff. Good quality, right? Yeah. Yeah. Mary was talking about that. Oh, that's so funny. And another, Mary brought up a good point. So sometimes when you're crafting and things, you have a plan and then things go in another direction, which I do often. You guys hear me all the time. I'm like, we're going to do this. And then we don't end up doing it. And I do something different. She said, that's where creativity comes from, where it comes in. And I agree. I couldn't agree more. That's the beauty of it, right? That's exactly what it is. I love that comment, Mary. Thank you. I always love chatting with you. Selena, thank you. Selena Stevens, thought it was a good idea to remake the shorts. Thank you. I'm glad I'm doing it finally. It took me a while. And Shabby Cottage Studio, so nice to hear from you. She said if she lived in Canada, she would come shopping with us tomorrow. Yeah, a lot of people wish they could come, but they're just not close enough. And Jita again, hello. And Sherry Mills again, hello. Sherry Mills mentioned soup weather, bulky sweaters, jeans, and boots. Yes, girl. Love, I'm here for it. I also love comfy socks, like when you're at home in your pajama pants and you're just wearing your comfy socks around. So I love that. So thank you very much for your comments. I appreciate it. It's so nice to hear from everybody. So, what are we going to do next? We are going to do, let me just jump on to the content here. If I go to the playlist, 100 Days of Envelopes, which I'll link at the very end here, and I go to the videos, they are in order, except for the ones I'm adding right now. They're at the very back. Ba-doom. Ba-dum. Day. Okay, so what we're going to do next. Let's see if you want to hang around for this. We are going to do stamped and the folio. Yeah, I think I might have mentioned that already. So we're going to do stamped and folio next. Okay, which is day 7 and day 8. All right, well, stay tuned. This journal is going to start filling up with these envelope projects. So it's a very basic neutral journal I started with, just tea-dyed paper, music paper. And who was asking me? It's 3 signatures, and I just did a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. This is a wallpaper sample, and I made my cover myself out of thin chipboard. And the paper on the inside is just from it's a Recollections. It's from Michaels. And then I have some Tim Holtz papers in here as well. Vintage pages, some vellum, some vintage notebook paper. I've added a few pockets. So yeah, I don't have a lot of Tim Holtz paper left, which makes me really sad, but it's I definitely have it in here. And then I have some vintage book pages in here too, some fun paper. So yes, this journal will start to take shape and fill up, and that'll be fun. And then we got to do some sort of journal topper on that too. So that'll probably be another video once we're done the envelopes, remaking all the envelopes. Okay, thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope to see you tomorrow. If you want to leave a comment but you don't want to repeat yourself, you go ahead and just leave me an emoji, and so I know you were here. And let's do black emojis. Okay, music notes, hearts, whatever. Just leave me some sort of black emoji in the comments, and I'll know you were here so I can say hello. Okay, take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.